Hey everyone, welcome to We the Trust. On this podcast, we talk about the issues that plague the lives of men, from sonship to fatherhood, fitness to finance, emotions to spiritual formation. We push the boundaries that make most men uncomfortable. My name is Mario Casada, a pastor, mindset coach, and brand strategist living in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I am joined by Eric Chang, an entrepreneur, fitness coach, and author living in Arcadia, California. Welcome to Season 2.
So Matt, thank you for being with us today, guys. This is Hey We the Trust. This is Season 2, episode 12. I'm here with my co-host Mario. This is Eric. And today we have Matt Olson here with us. Today we're going to talk about being healthy and what that means. Matt has a really, really cool story about his journey into health, being on the other side of healthy, and what even being healthy means. Matt resides in, I believe, Eastville, California, and he is a husband, dad. I think he's a dad to four kids.
Two boys.
Okay.
Don't give me too much. I can't.
I feel like it's because like I've seen
is enough.
I've seen. I might have just planted a seed for you. I feel like I've seen you in videos with like a bajillion kids, so I just assume you got a million of them. But Matt is a man that has two paternal kids, but is probably a father and father figure to many. He is a U.S. Army combat veteran, and he is a cancer survivor. I believe it's specifically Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's in remission, and I think he beat it in 2020. Was it 2020 or 2019?
2018. I got 2018. I got
something that Matt likes to say is he likes to challenge himself and hopefully encourages those in the sphere to challenge themselves to do the same. I wanted to share a David Goggins quote that I saw in a video that one of our mutual friends, Thomas, put out. This is quite a few years ago. If you are in the CrossFit community, there's a video on it. It's an amazing video on the morning chalk up. It's a CrossFit community focused newspaper, I guess. It's like a kind of like a news outlet, newsletter. So here's the quote. If you have any mental toughness, if you have any fraction of self-discipline, the ability to not want to do it, but still do it, if you can get through it doing things that you hate to do, on the other side is greatness. And that couldn't be a more perfect quote for you, Matt. That's by David Goggins. But Matt, thank you for being here. I know that Mario and you have chatted for a little bit. Yeah, man, tell us about yourself. What does it mean to be healthy?
I go back to, and I always say this, like, God always has a plan of why bad things happen. And people will say they like to blame God, or why is it this happened to me, or poor me. And I got to tell you, every struggle I've gone through in life, okay, and I take it all the way back to where I grew up, where my parents still live. They live in North Long Beach. So if you're familiar with Compton, in the Hawaiian Islands, next door. And in the community I was raised in, my parents still live. My dad's been a pastor for 45 years in Southgate and Linwood. What I've learned is that when you serve others, there's so much greatness on the other side. And when Thomas put that quote in that video, it is because you go through struggles in life, and to get what is health. And I always question, like, what is health? In my definition of health is you're able to wake up and go and do anything out in the world. Maybe not at the levels of pure athletes or, the 1% of everything, but I could wake up right now and I could go on a bike ride. I could go on a hike. I can lift weights. I can swing a baseball bat. I can throw a basketball. I can shoot a basketball. I can throw the ball. But that's that. Health is being, in my perspective, being able to do that without ego and the pursuit of getting better in every interaction I'm in. What do I mean when I say that? I always talk about why I started the motivational company, Movement Motivation. It happened way before it started. There was a gentleman by the name of David Mitchell in my health journey that I have openly talked about. I had lunch with him a couple weeks ago. When I got back from the war, I was deployed in 2004, and I was in a bad accident when I was overseas. And when I came back, in the Army, I'd always get physical fitness tests, and I always like to get the perfect score and try and do that. But when I came back, I was broken. And I mean, really broken, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, I was prescribed pain pills. I was prescribed Xanax. I took it all to just try to mask the getting healthy portion. I was hiding from what potential I had. And I saw this guy, Dave Mitchell. I'd known him for many years. And he was a D1 college basketball athlete. And I've been an LA Fitness gym rat forever. Right? This is before pre-CrossFit. This is 2003, 2004. I come back from overseas, and David Mitchell, I would like follow him around in the gym. I would like sneak around when he was doing chest. I would be at the bench over. And finally one day, I know he saw me, right? Because he's an older gentleman. He says, "Let's get buff." And that was his invitation for me to stop just following him from afar, but to just get after it with him. And it wasn't, he never charged me. He never said, "Hey man, buy me lunch." But we formed a friendship. And what he put inside me was that, I don't know if he knew it or didn't know it, but he helped me get through a very dark time in my life of coming back from an emotional trauma, being away from my family, being stuck I'm from California, right? So they sent me to Fort Lewis, Washington. And if you're not from Washington, God bless you, because it rains a lot. And I was up there in October, November, December, January timeframe. And it was just gloom and doom by myself, away from my unit, away from my family, away from everybody, in a dark environment. So it was easy for me to slip into the medication that I was getting for anxiety and pain and everything. But what I realized after working with Dave was hard work and just moving helped get my mind clear, helped get my mind to move towards health. And going towards health wasn't hitting a certain lift or hitting a certain number and but it was just getting me in the right direction. Fast forward, I found CrossFit in 2010. My wife did, from a local soccer class that my son was in. My 3-year-old son was doing the soccer class, and the guy who just opened Chino CrossFit was leading the class. And so she started. She was like one of the OG members of Chino CrossFit. And I was doing triathlons at the time. I was trying to run, swim, bike, and it was fun. I'd done a half, and I wasn't competitive, but I just loved moving, right? And so I still was an LA Fitness All-Star, and she goes, "Hey, this is my jam. I know if you get into it, it's not going to be my jam anymore, so stay away." So we would do the kid swap. She would go to the jam, I would come, and then one day the guy goes, "Hey man, why don't you just stick around after your wife's done?" I'm like, "Nah, this is her jam. I'm going to go to LA Fitness. I just dropped the kids off. We're doing a transition." He goes, "Just give it a shot." So my opening CrossFit workout was a 7-minute single. And I got to tell you, I'm like, this guy wants me to do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats for 7 minutes. Get out of here. This is my warm-up. I'm doing my warm-up, okay? I got into minute 2, and everybody has that journey where they go, "What just happened?" And I can't explain it. I had done probably 3 rounds, strict pull-ups, half squats, and I thought I was the man, but I couldn't breathe. I was like, this is all we're doing? And you get that like, what is happening right now? What is going on in my body? And I was hooked. I mean, from that moment forward, it became, I think sometimes, and I share this too, like, it became so, the balance became, I wanted to compete all the time because I just loved it so much, right? And I just keep seeing these gains and gains and gains, and I meet these cool people, and I watch these videos online of, this is 2012. This is peak Rich Froning behind the scenes. You watch, it's like, how do I do a muscle up? How do I power clean? And at the time, 225 was a big number, right? And I'm trying to hit 225 on a power clean because I can't squat clean for anything. And that was my number I'm trying to hit. And when you hit it, you're like, okay, I did it. What next? And I did this competition. What next? And I got into a rut where it wasn't a good mental balance thing with my family, my kids. And so I kind of had to check myself. And I've always been I'm a level 1, level 2. And I've never charged for any class I've ever taught because I'm in that pursuit of health. And I fell in love with, again, the community part of CrossFit. And the same thing that Dave Mitchell gave me, the CrossFit community gave me, that emotional support while you're breathing really hard, focusing on getting healthy in very trying times. And 2018 hit me like a batter with bricks. 2018 comes and I get diagnosed. My kids are in jiu-jitsu class. I woke up one Easter in 2018 with a lump on my neck. That weekend during Easter, I go to the hospital. They tell me I'm surgery. I don't know what to do. What's going on? And 3 days later after the surgery, the doctor called me and said, hey, we need to have a conversation. Come in. I'm like, I'm not a patient guy. God didn't bless me with that talent or that at all. And I'm like, just tell me over the phone. I don't need to come into you. Just tell me what it is. Is it, do I have, I don't know what it was, but cancer wasn't even in the middle of my brain. All of a sudden he goes, you have cancer. I'm like, shut the, you know what up. And I'm just a doctor, an MD. I'm like, get out of here. You stop, and I'm like, I'm laughing, joking. I'm like, he's busting my balls. Like, I think he's really messing with me.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, man, he was a young doctor. And he goes, hey man, you got cancer and we need to start treatment right away. And then automatically I just, wow, I got a 7 and a 9-year-old. I got a wife. I got a beautiful family. I got a beautiful community around me. And you get hit with this news. And I'm like, man, I've done everything right. I've ate, I love cookies. I'm a cookie monster, but I've lived a healthy lifestyle. And this isn't supposed to happen to people who are healthy. And so I tell people all the time, my wife was at jiu-jitsu it was a Tuesday afternoon. And that day we promised each other we wouldn't call each other. We would, whatever news I got when the doctor called, I would tell her in person. Well, she was at jiu-jitsu. I walk in and the kids are doing jiu-jitsu. She looks at me right away and I gave her a look that wasn't positive, and she just starts. My wife is 100% opposite of me. She is a angel on earth for having to deal with this craziness. This is a ball of energy that is like a Ryu, Blanca, Chun-Li, crazy Street Fighter 2. If you're familiar with that game, like and she has to deal with this. And we've been married almost 17 years next April. And she just broke down right there. And that's not her character. That's not, she's a very she's extroverted, but introverted, like of emotion and stuff. She broke down right there. I go up, I give her a hug. We walk outside. The jiu-jitsu coach who's been teaching my boys goes, he thought we were getting divorced. So I sent her home. I say, I'll take the boys home. So the boys get done with jiu-jitsu. The coach comes up. He's like, hey man, you got to tell me something. You guys get divorced? I said, no, I just found out I had cancer. And, I just hit him like that. He's like, whoa, okay. So I dropped my kids off. I took the kids home and I called my three closest people. I called my boss of 25 years. I called my best friend, Dom, and I called my buddy, Phil. I get emotional with those calls because those 3 calls, when I made them, wasn't to tell them that I had cancer, but there are so many things in my brain. Hey guys, you guys are the 3 closest men in my life. Like the 3 closest men in my life. If something happens, you guys got to take care of these family. And I'll never forget those calls. And these guys have been in my life for over 20 years in different aspects. And what it says to me is those calls, they didn't just be like, oh, poor you. They're like, okay, what's next step? And that's why you have to have strong men in your corner that in hard times aren't going to be like, oh, pity you. They're like, okay, next step. What do we do now? Where do we go? And that took me out of the mode of, okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Let's go. Game on. I didn't even tell my parents yet. Because I didn't know how to tell them. My mom is like that mom. She's a Hispanic mom. So she was going to lose it when I told her. So I dropped the boys off and I go to the gym. I go to 24-hour fitness and I go to the 3rd treadmill. And I said to myself, I said, if I run at a 6 5-minute pace for 20 minutes while I get rid of this? Like, because I'm so naive if I run really hard and sweat really hard, will this poison get out of my body? And we all know that's not the case. That's not what happened. I breathed really hard. I listened to some great music. I go home. And when I got home, there were some family members waiting. Dear close friends of mine. One of both, it's crazy. Two of the partners in my Move to Motivation, Matt and John, were at my house with their wives, because my wife has a very close knit, like 4-woman posse that she rolls with for a long time. And all those girls and their husbands are waiting for me at my house. And when I went home and we just cried together, and it's at that moment I told my wife, and we don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even know what Hodgkin's lymphoma is, right? I'm like, what is this? I thought it was a blood cancer. It's not a blood cancer. It's in the lymph nodes. And what ended up happening was, we said that night we wanted to start this journey different than for our family, the way I am. That I wanted it to be one that, yes, I just got the worst news that a man could get with a family, but I didn't want people to think that I was going to be a crybaby during this thing, that I needed to be my pity party. But we're gonna show what it's like in this dark time of my family's life. We're gonna share these experiences, and I'm gonna take you on the journey with me. And when I see you, I told everybody, I'm not quitting work. I still worked. I still coached my kids' baseball team. I still was involved in the community. I still did my Sunday morning workouts with my guys since 2017. And again, that health is what kept me going. Every day I worked out, went to the gym. Every day I did it. I didn't move what I thought I would move. But I say that health comes with a healthy community. And I'll leave it at that. Like, during that journey, that's how I met Thomas. The day, Eric and my mutual friend, the day you talked about why God made me do this. Why did God do this? Now, I don't blame God. I said, thank you, God. I said, this bad thing in my life turned it into where I can help others going through that struggle who may not have the community around there, but I'll be that community. I'll fight that little light. It's not a shining bright light, a big spotlight. It's a little flicker. When you're having a bad time going through that cancer journey, I tell people, call me, and I'll give you a 10-minute call, 5-minute call, just to conversate, to get you through that time. Because if I'm with you in your dark times, in your highlights, I don't want to be in your highlights. I want to be in your low lights, in that little spark of light in that dark time. And that's what happens in health journey, right? The health journey is the same way. When we're going through life of having kids and going through a hard job or getting fired or this and that, bad things happen, we tend to go away from health and go to dark things. And I've done it myself. But God has always just kind of like taken a path back to get your body moving, put people around you, move with them, sweat with them, breathe hard with them. And it doesn't matter what the activity is. Zumba, yoga, CrossFit, powerlifting, running, walking, jogging. I don't care what it is. All these activities make you breathe hard with other human beings. And in those breathing hard moments, you form bonds that I can't explain. And I just share the message that health is a lifetime event. You're building blocks every day. And you don't need to build the wall in one day. You don't need to do a marathon every day. You need to go 1 mile a day. And guess what? In 26 days, you run a marathon. You can tell somebody, have you ever run a marathon? If you ran 26 days in a row, yeah, I ran 26 miles. So technically, my time wasn't the same time yours was, but I ran 26 miles, right? Yeah, so, people are like, oh, I can't do a marathon. I said, how many miles run? Give me your Strava app. You ran 26 miles or you walked 26 miles in 6 days, according to Apple or your Samsung. You just ran a marathon, just not as fast as the guy from, Ethiopia or Kenya ran it. You're able to run a race like everybody else and just build slowly and surround yourself with people who will elevate you to not their version of health, but your version of health, which is moving and breathing hard. So that's a little bit of my own story. So many people on the way that I'm grateful for. It inspired the 24-hour challenge that, like you said earlier, when you're doing it, you're like, why am I doing this? But then I get a message from somebody, or we have 2 families of kids that are going through cancer. Their families are going to be on a bike for 24 hours. And we raise money for the Jesse Reese Foundation. to give kids joy jars around the world. A beautiful organization. I know the family very well. And it was because of my church of how I came to know this organization. I was going through cancer treatment. After my second treatment, our church was gathering these toys. And the pastor said, hey, we're going to go deliver toys for kids fighting cancer. I'm like, well, I'm fighting cancer. I want to go meet kids. I've seen kids at City of Hope going through treatment. I want to go encourage them. Like, they're little versions of me. I'm just 39-year-old. They're 7, 8, 9. Well, God didn't say that I was going to go meet those kids that day. I was going to meet the Jesse Reese Foundation at their facility in Irvine, California, and the joy factor of where they actually do it. So we delivered the toys with other people in the church, and we walked in. I'm like, where are the kids with cancer? And they're like, they're not here. This is where we put the stuff together. And man, you guys all you gotta do is type in Jesse Reese Foundation. Look at her story. This little amazing girl who's passed away. She fought brain cancer and passed away. She's only 13 years old. This little girl sparks something in me to this day. When I wake up and exercise, she's in the back of my mind. Because she never gave up. She never gave hope. And when she battled cancer for almost a little bit over a year, a little bit less than a year, March to January. She really embodied giving back when she was dying. And her family, again, just a beacon of light to people. Their daughter's gone, and they have 2 other kids that are involved in the organization, and they do such amazing things. And one of the other people you guys know, if you're in the CrossFit space, Jason Kalipa. I've gotten to meet him and know him. His daughter fought leukemia. That's why he ended his CrossFit career. And he does a benefit for them since she was sick, called Ava's Kitchen. And I got the pleasure to go up there to the event this past February and be a part of that and just see benevolent people give back to people they'll never met, kids you'll never meet. And so my goal is, when I was so blessed with my church community, my Eastville community, the Little League community, the CrossFit community. So many people blessed my family. People I went to high school with, college with, they blessed my family and surrounded my family. I told my family, our mission in life is to give back 1,000 times what we were blessed with in our time in 2018 of going through a dark time. And I'm relentless in that pursuit. That's what Move Through Motivation is all about. You see me with a lot of kids. Yesterday, I got the heavyweights for the junior All-American football team in our city. And so they got to lose weight to meet a certain weight. So I said, hey, give them to me. We're going to move and do some squats and push-ups and run in the park and just let them know that breathing hard and we do it together. It's hard. We do together, we could do it stronger and we're going to be better together. And so that's why a lot of people think I have a lot of kids, because, I make the parents come out and do it too. I encourage the parents to come out and move. And they're like, you want to, and so if you look yesterday, they had about 25 kids out at the park. And I'm like, the parents, they're not used to, the guys don't know, come work out. So some of the dads came out and moved on, and that bond. And I've been doing my kids, my boys, Kyle and Casey, they know it. We move every day. And there's a bond and a connection that happens when we move together. And the 24-hour challenge is my way of every year, until I can't, which I don't know when that'll be. We challenge ourselves with a 24-hour challenge. Year 1 was, I was going through treatment, 8,640 squats. Year 2 was 10,000 kettlebell swings. That's a video that Eric is talking about, that the David Goggins quote came from. Year 3 was during COVID, in person, in California, no excuses. Kids were battling cancer. I was not going to. And we did it at the gym, 3,000 lunges, 3,000 burpees, 5,000 lunges. Oh. Last year, I said, let's do a team aspect. So we built teams of 5 and we rode for 24 hours on Concept 2. And this year we're on the Road Gecko bike. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. I know I was long-winded, but I'm passionate and I shout it from the rooftop. Community is everything. And my health journey starts with community.
So good, man. So good.
Hey, Matt, so I'm going to push into that community aspect, and I want to know where that comes from. Like, where did you discover that community was so integral for a positive lifestyle or even just your life?
Yeah. I take it back to when I was a kid. My parents, my dad was a pastor of a small church, right? And my great grandmother at the time, when I was about like 9 or 10, moved into a nursing home. So we would have to go to church, and my parents, they would feed the kids every weekend. The kids in the local neighborhood in Linwood and Southgate. There's a lot of kids that would come to church, but their parents didn't come. It's kind of like exercising, right? Like the parents would just send them to church. And where I went to church, it wasn't really learning about God. It was learning about learn how to get educated and graduate high school and get out of the environment, not the city, that the city's bad, but the living and environment that they were used to or from. And I saw it from my dad. Like my dad had a heart attack at 39, working 6, 7 jobs. He's got 2 bachelor's degrees, cum laude in economics from UCLA, graduates and then tells my grandmother, who was a single mom raising him at the time, I'm going to be a pastor after meeting my mother. He had a great job lined up. He always tells me he had a great job lined up, the one you want, where you're going to excel. And then he becomes a poor missionary Baptist pastor. He just worked his butt off, but he never stopped pushing. And my dad is 67 years old in June, at the end of this month. He rides his bike every day, 20 to 25 miles on the Long Beach riverbed, going through Compton, City of Industry, all the way 12 miles there, 12 miles back. And he kicks my butt on that bike every time we get on it. And I listen, if it isn't for hills, I can keep up with him. I can keep up. If there's hills, I'll keep him. If it's a flat road, see ya, Pops. He left me. I give him a hard time. I'm 41 years old, and I told my mom, Dad left me on the bike trail. We rode from Eastville. A crew of us rode from Eastville to, I said, Mom, don't worry. I'll take care of Dad on the bike ride. He'll be okay. And she's like, okay, son, thank you. He's looking forward to his bike ride with you. He left me. Him and my councilman literally left me to just die out of this on the 57 freeway down to Huntington Beach. And he won't let me live it down. He won't let me live it down. But it's my father. My father is the guy that taught me how to serve without expectations, to serve the community. And when you serve that community, like I said, when I do stuff in the community, like I don't charge when I coach. I've been a paying member of CCF Athletics since 2011, right? When I coach a class, I don't charge for a class. When I do the community workouts, I don't charge. Why? That's my way of giving back. That's my way of saying I'm healthy enough to create a community, to build. And I know businesses do this all the time, but for me, I just want to see kids get healthy. And I want to see families get healthy, because I know it. I see it in my own family. When we're moving together, we're connected. There's no dad and son when me and my kids are doing push-ups and running. We're trying to survive to get to the finish line. Same way with me and my dad. But the community aspect comes from my father and my mother, of serving the community, not for anything in return, but to bless others, because I feel like I've been blessed. So.
I bet.
I kind of want to expand on that question, that just with community, and something that really stuck and got me really teary-eyed was, when you first got the news of getting cancer, it was kind of a twofold question. Is the first thing that you did was you called the three, like your 3 closest guys. I think guys just naturally, a lot of times we can become very, we can become like lone wolves, right? And you carry the weight of your life on your own shoulders, and, we become very solitary. If you look at, I don't know if you know this, but like a lot of the top CrossFit Games athletes, even like they train alone. And a lot of that is like this because, and I noticed that's changing now. A lot of the top athletes, they've chosen to train together, right? But when CrossFit first started getting big, a lot of these guys were like, they would hold their secrets, right? Like Fraser didn't want any, I feel like Rich Froning, I'm a huge Froning fan, but like he's been trolling the internet since he became a games athlete. Like he just eats like BS on whenever he's showing himself on camera, he's eating like crap. And it's like, I'm like, I don't think he eats like that all the time. Like, but it's to like throw off the game. It's like throw the game off, you know? And I think guys can be such like solitary creatures because we just naturally want to be alone, or like we want to do things on our own because of ego or whatever. Why was the instinct for you to just call these three guys right away? Like why was that the first thing that you did? And what was it like to what was it like to get the news when it hit you? Like, how did, like, I'm like, your first instinct was denying it. This isn't real. And then as you're processing that, how did you go to like, let me call these guys?
Well, I tell people all the time, like there was fear for a little bit. There was fear crept in, like, and it wasn't even, here's what's crazy. Like, I know when I die, I'm going to a better place. Right. And I know I'm not worried about that. When you're a dad, and I always talk about, like, I can't talk on other people's life experiences. I have to have empathy for people, what they're going through if I haven't gone through it. Right. But for me, it was fear of not knowing what my kids are going to get if something bad happens. And I don't know, but if something bad happens to me, who's going to teach my kids? Who's going to teach my kids how to be a good dude? Who's going to teach my kids? Who's going to be there for my wife? And I had set things up financially for them. If I die, life insurance, everybody, every male should have life insurance starting when you're 18. I don't care if you have a family or not. Start then. It's way cheaper than turn 80. I'm just telling you, get it. You won't know, but I had a lot of college buddies, fraternity brothers that became financial guys. And right out of college, they call and say, hey, give me $50 a month. I'm like, okay, I don't know why, but it wasn't the financial side. My thing was, it immediately went to, man, I'm abandoning my family. Not because I caused it, but I'm going to leave them. If something happened, I'm going to leave them. And knowing how I was raised by my dad and my mom, and just knowing the love that was put in me, if I'm not there, how are they going to try? So it went away from me. It actually, that's the crazy part. I didn't even think about it. So I called those guys. I'm like, look, guys, you three dudes. Number one, my boss, my mentor, he's like, I've known him since I was a kid. Like, I was like, look, dude, if something that, and he was a calming factor in this. He was probably the most calming. All three of them were good. But I called him for different reasons, right? Kevin is my boss, my mentor, like my business partner in so many ways. And then I called Dominic, who's a fraternity brother. And we've been through life together, from college going, crazy, to raising kids, and, just that part of life. And then Phil has been a part of my wife's life and his wife's life, like before I met them. So we've raised kids together. We've gone on vacation. Like, there's just so much, and I needed to bounce things off good men. And this is what I tell people: if you don't have a good circle of friends around you, seek them out. They're there, and they're the ones that aren't going to be your cheerleading squad. They're your real squad. They're your squad that's going to tell you if you're screwing up. They're your squad that's going to tell you, hey man, get on point. You're rolling off point. Yeah. And for men, that's hard to hear sometimes, right? Because we're egotistical, pride. Now I got this. No, we don't got it. We don't have it. We never do. There's only one man who's ever been on this earth who's had it, and that's Jesus Christ. Everybody else is trying to figure it out, right? And the only thing I say is, there was a message that I heard a pastor preach a couple ago. Like, you think about Jesus when he was on this earth. He was going out and changing lives in his 33 years while he was on here. He did it with 12 dudes. He had 12 close dudes around him who, good, bad, all the way till he died, and they denied him, scared when he died. Yeah. He was around multitudes, but think about how he traveled. He traveled in small packs with 12 close dudes. Yeah. His 12 disciples. They were his men. They were his three guys that I called. That was Jesus's guys when he was earth. And I translate that for men and women to have people around you that empower you to be a better human being. I've told everybody, I don't care what my boys do in life. I don't care if they become engineers, doctors, scientists, professional athletes. I don't care. I want them to grow up and be good dudes. Give back. The more you give back, the more comes to you. And I am a perfect example of that. The more I give back, the more, and I'm not asking for it back.
Yeah.
God just blesses. When you give, you receive.
Yeah.
And so my message is put good guys around you, because that's why I knew who to call as soon as a bad thing. It wasn't, I'm going to call them some good things in life. I'm calling them, if this goes wrong, you're in charge.
Yeah.
You're my go-to.
I mean, as you were saying that, I immediately was like, I started going through a Rolodex, right? I know one of them's on the call right now, but I know one of them on the call right now. And then I thought, I mean, I literally was like, shoot, man, that list is pretty short, and and
I mean, know a lot of people. You probably know a lot of people, but how well do you know a lot of people?
Yeah.
And that's the message. That's the message I say, right? Like, you gotta have. When I was going through my cancer journey, I created this thing called the Power Five, and they would laugh because these four of the guys, three of them were fraternity brothers. One guy was a guy that me and him were wrestling in high school, and we're the smallest football players, and we shouldn't have played football. He was smart. He stopped. I just wanted to be the fastest guy on the sideline cheering for the team. That was my job. Okay. My job in high school football was to run up and down the sidelines, cheering for the team, smacking helmets. Let's go. Let's go. Right. And I still do this today when I MC competition, watching humans do great things. But those guys, after going through what I went through, I called them up out randomly, and three of the guys knew each other. One didn't. But I said, hey guys, you guys are dads, your fathers. I really like what you guys stand for. You're business owners, you're entrepreneurs, you're salesmen, you're leaders in your workplace, different aspects of life, different avenues. And I said, hey, I just want to get coffee with you guys. Yeah. And kind of how we're chatting right now, we all just sat down. I'm like, I need to be empowered by other men who are doing good things in the world.
Yeah.
When you go to a networking event, and like you said, you see everybody trying to chest up and say how good they are. I like to go to them and just see who's in that room. Once that room ends, that energy in that room is electric, right? Like everybody's on fire. But I watch when that room leaves and you're not in that environment, how do you move?
Yeah.
Are you doing the same things you're saying in that network? Are you in the community you're saying you're in? Are you putting in the work? Or are you just saying in that network, I'm it. I'm the man. Yep. I'm the man. Yep. Oh, bro, it takes a village. And anybody who doesn't understand that doesn't get it. And every aspect of my life, I treat everybody the same. When I go to a customer, if you're the janitor or you're the CEO, I will treat you the exact same. You're a man, you're a woman, you breathed. God created you in his image. And guess what? You're going to do great things on earth. You just haven't been empowered to do great things. And maybe you are, and you're just. So I tell everybody, whatever you do it with the best intention and talent that God gave you in that life. And the next level of your life, take the experience from that and move on to the next.
So good, man. Love it, man. Yeah. There's so many themes that you just attacked just now that I'm like, wow, there's so many follow-up questions. One thing I want to affirm that you were basically saying is health means surrounding yourself with strong men. Like that's, I never thought about when we think of the word healthy, we don't think of, community is one of we think of like what your body looks like or like what you're eating or maybe even your mindset. Right. But we never think that, how to tie that into community and it's amazing that that's the first thing that you did because, you're a very responsible person, first of all. Right. And, but a lot of people will just get stuck in those feelings and you were like, dude, I got to take action right now. And it's amazing that those guys on the other side of that phone were like, they knew exactly what, I'm like getting choked up, but they knew exactly what they had to do because you're their brother. And that's like so powerful, man. Like they knew the responsibility that they had just by being in proximity to you.
Yeah, I think if I look back at what Dave Mitchell did for me when I got back from the war, another dark time in my life. And guys, this is what I'm saying. Like men, when we give up this ego that we need to be better than Eric or Mario, or I need to be at a level of them. That's not what God's mission is. He created us all unique with different talents and abilities. And I feel like we could be like, you remember what was that cartoon when they were robots and then they transformed, not Transformers. It was Megatron. Voltron, that's right. The 80s kid. I like it. I like it. You don't know. There's a show called Voltron. And they were all like different units. But when they came together, they became to fight. And that's the way I feel men need to be. That's the way I feel like if we just add, and this is why I look for men who are strong in different areas, because I could take somebody who's good in accounting and take their work ethic. And I could take somebody who's good in exercising. And this guy's good with numbers. This guy's exercise. But guess what? If we come together, we can put our talents together. And what can we do together? We could exercise together. We could talk. You're a dad, but we have different lifestyles. But I always look for, like I said in the beginning, like the good in a community and extract that and pull that out and spread that message of, look, guys, in this community, something bad happened. How do we take what we got from here and grow from it, nurture it? And when I hear tragic things, and I always go back to this, when I hear tragic news of people, I get calls maybe once a month, every couple months of somebody new getting cancer. And my message is never, I don't call them and tell them, you need to go to this doctor, you need to go to this person, you need to see this, go to this. I always go back to when I got that news, when I got that call when I called Phil and them, Dom and Kev, like they didn't tell me, oh, you need to go to this. They listened. They said, and so when I get those calls or somebody to reach out to me and say, hey man, I know your story. You don't know me, but I got a buddy who's battling. Can you just give him a call and just talk to him? So yeah, give him my number. And I usually want them to call me. I'll call if they want me to call them. I'll call them. I have no problem putting myself in uncomfortable positions. But when we call, it's more of, how are you doing today? What is your mindset like going into this? How can I be here for you? I don't tell them what doctors see, I'm not an MD. All I know is God gave me an ability to make sure and connect with people in a dark time, to really just be there, be a brother, just put your arm around somebody. And it's not only cancer, it could be anything. It could be so many things.
Yeah.
And so that struggle, how do we turn it into a strength? How do we turn that bad time and turn it into not a good, and I'm not fake with them. They're like, what is treatment like? What's chemo like? I tell them, it's like getting kicked in the balls really hard and your stomach hurts forever and you feel like a shadow or whatever. But that was my experience. I don't know what your experience is going to be like, but I do know this. When you're going through a rough day, you need somebody to go on a walk with, you need somebody to talk to, you pick up that phone, you call me, and I'm here for you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to be your brother, standing by you. If I could take it from you, and this is for the little kids, man, if I could take all that disease those kids get, I would take it out of them. And I know my body, I know God gave me the strength, but I'd take it. Remember that movie Green Mile with when he sucks the bad out of them? I wish I could do that for kids fighting cancer, but I could just take it out and put it in my veins. I'll take it. I'll take the weight of the world on. I'll take it, but I can't. So what I got to do, and I go into I would go into dark spaces because I've been to funerals, guys. In 2020, I went to more funerals than I did for COVID or cancer than I did for COVID. Think about that. And I have empathy for the people who passed away during COVID. But guess what? There are people fighting disease every day in this world. And we don't need to we need to love on everybody. We need to have empathy for everybody in the thing. But guess what? The one thing I tell people, even in my cancer journey, PTSD from the war, everything that's always helped me was this: moving my body a little bit, because it makes this thing stronger.
Motivation.
That's right. Just move a little. That brand stuff. It's good stuff. But Mario, I'd love to challenge you about that. I'm a space cadet. I really would love to go on it because my brain. I always tell my guys, I'm like a rocket ship. I just boom. I see the moon. I want to go to the moon. But they're like, guys, we need to build a rocket ship. And that's the patience of the people that put around me to say, okay, Matt, we know you want to, do this, but we got to A, B, C, D. I'm like, I'm
just like me. He just like me.
Yeah.
We're the same person. We're the same person.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's going to get done. Yeah. It's just, do I have to bulldoze to get it done? Yeah. Or can I or do I just have men, women around me that just get carried to the next level?
Yeah.
So.
Dude, as you were saying that, I was sitting on the sofa last night. We're trying to start a movie. There's a new like Adam Sandler movie out that LeBron helped. It's called like Hustle or something like that. But I want to watch
on Netflix.
I've been really, really wanting to watch it. Yeah. I got like 5 minutes in, pause it. And then my wife and I just start talking to each other. You know, it's like, one of those, like you're sitting down, we end up not watching the movie, but we're sitting down and we start talking and I go, oh yeah, like I already started working on the second. Oh, and this is going to go in my third book. And like, oh, there's like this, I want to talk about this theme. She goes, why don't you get your first book done? she goes, you always talk about the second and third book, but like this first book has taken almost 2 years. How come, like, why don't we just get that one published and see what happens first? But you want to talk about the second and third one. That's really nice and all, but why don't you finish one thing at a time? And I'm like,
you're speaking of my wife. My wife, I drive her bananas. Listen to me. I tell people publicly, I am the worst kid in my house. I'm in more trouble than my 10 and 12-year-old every day. Every day. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes I do it to just kind of get a rise out of her because we're married over 17 years. And sometimes like, I think I did the right thing. But my joke with her is if I look at her like this, and I look at her, if you smile, then I know I'm really, but if she cracks a smile, then I know I'm okay. If she doesn't crack a smile, I'm in the doghouse. I'm in the doghouse. I trust me, man. I love that woman dearly, but man, I drive her bananas. And it's sometimes when I would do it, I just get so excited sometimes and just, like I said, rocket ship, I just need to calm down a little bit. And I've tried. If you knew me in 1999, my nickname was Spaz. In high school, my name was McFly.
I can't see
for those of you back, Marty McFly, because I was all over the place,
Oh man!
My message is clear. God gave us a beating heart for it to pump fast and pump. Yeah. Our body was just so beautifully made. I mean, you think about everybody's trying to invent something. Look what God created, man. You from your fingertips to your elbow joints to your shoulder joints it's an amazing machine that God created. And I feel like when we just let it sit in the garage and it's like having even if you have a nice shiny car in the garage, you never take it out, it's gonna go bad, right? This motor, our body's the same way. You got to pump that blood. That heart's got to beat, and it's better to do it with people than by yourself. It's better to surround yourself with a good community than try and tackle the world on your own. And I think if we always go back to God, like that's what Jesus did when he was here. He didn't go and preach to people by himself. He didn't do it. And I have to constantly remind myself when I get too ahead of myself, bro, slow down. You need to slow down. And there are people around me that will tell me that you're taking on too much. And they know by the way I act. Like I get really and that's the PTSD and the other things that happen in life. But to have those strong men around you to tell you that, it's important. It's really important. And that is more than physical health. That's mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, and all aspects of health. So,
you remind me of a quote that I have no idea where it came from, but it's if we want to go fast, we go alone. If we want to go far, we go together.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's just something for us to just be cognizant of in general. Right. But that's probably your life quote, because you are like, it's the same with Eric, same with me. Like if we want to do something, we want to do it now. We want to get it done. We want to be where we want to be, where I see it happening now. And I forget the steps. I don't care what it takes. I just got to get there. Right. So, but man, this has been awesome, man. I love being in your energy orbit. Give me a call anytime.
Well, let's connect. We'll connect.
Let's connect.
Yeah, definitely. Let's definitely connect. Let me know. Give me a call. Eric's got my phone number. Love to. Anytime y'all want to chat, I'm ready, man. And if I'm ever in Hawaii, if I'm ever in Hawaii, I'm gonna find what island are you on?
I'm on Oahu, so I'm on the main island.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you been to Hawaii?
Yeah, I've been to Maui, Oahu, and
Big Island.
Kauai.
Kauai is great. Yeah.
So
I've only been to Maui and Oahu, but Oahu has my heart, bro. Like if I I don't know.
It's the
I
most
just love
busy.
it.
That's why.
Huh? Is it because it's the most busy?
Yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds. I don't know what it is, but and also it's because Mario's there. So that's why I like it. So,
All right, Matt.
All
Matt,
right,
it's been
guys.
amazing.
I
Hey,
appreciate you.
hey, can
Much
we?
love.
You have like 2 minutes. Can we ask you some 5 shotgun questions?
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah, let's do
Go
it.
for
Yes,
it.
sir.
Go for
Yes,
it.
sir.
Eric.
Awesome. So we're gonna go top down. I kind of know the answer to this one already. So let's go. So let's call our core 5. Matt, how do you train your body? So what's your physical practice?
40 minutes of movement every day, 40 minutes to an hour movement every day.
That's it. Doesn't
Love
matter
it.
what it
Love
is.
it.
Doesn't matter what it is, 40 to an hour minutes.
Go.
How do you take care of your heart? Just kind of like that seat of emotion, the way you know.
Be open to let your emotions. I cry a lot. My wife never tell you, have I cried today? I cry. I think men need to cry more. We'll be more loving people. I'll tell you.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to cry more. It takes care of a lot.
Dude,
of
I
things.
did not
I don't
expect
hold it
that
in.
one.
I don't
Oh,
hold
wow.
it in. I cry like a little girl, and all my friends will tell me like, I've been to lunches, getting sushi with guys, and I found out somebody passed away, and I had a breakdown. And my buddy Dom, who I told you earlier, he know I was in person. I was flooding. He's looking around like, but cry.
You're crying more than the guy that had the issue.
It'll help your heart. It'll help your heart. I promise.
That's true.
It'll help your heart. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. So good. I did not expect that answer.
Gotta cry.
This is the first time someone has recommended crying on our pod. That's a first. That's amazing. How do you take care of your mind? What's your mind, like any mindset practice that you have?
Yeah, I have this thing where you'll get a random call from me. And how I keep my mind thinking is I plug into different communities. Man, I haven't talked to somebody in a while. So I'll go through my phone every once in a while and I'll call somebody out of the blue that I haven't talked to maybe in 6 months, a year, and just kind of catch up. And either to bring back good memories of the past, it'll bring up, how life's going, because life goes so fast. You got to stop sometime and get your mind right by putting yourself in real connection. I love social media. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a glimpse. And conversations like we're having right now are somewhat priceless. They're timestamps. They're literally timestamps. In 20 years, your guys' kids can come back and look and see what you were thinking, what you were talking about. Did Eric finish that book? The first one, and did it, and that's even a, and that's a mental challenge, right? That's what we got to do. So
that's funny. I do something similar. I'll do the same thing. I'll just kind of look through my phone and it's like, I haven't talked to that person in a while. I want to give them a call. How do you take care of your soul, your spirit?
Dude, I love worship music at church. I cry a lot when you hear that song when Jaira comes on, and I've been a bad guy that week. Bro. Jaira comes on, or Waymaker comes on. There ain't a dry eye. I mean, like I grew up in a Mission Baptist church, and I want to raise my hands, but I haven't got there yet. My wife, I put my hands like this. But I've been for 38 years at a church.
You do the wide receiver. You do this one.
You do the wide receiver. At one time, if the pastor says raise your hand, I'll raise my hand, but then I'll bring it back down because it's just, But man, and hearing a good message. My pastor, Pastor Mark Lee, and Vantage Point. Me and my wife say every time I go in there, I feel like he's talking to me personally. Like God told him talk to me. Whether that week I was a pain in the butt to my wife, or I wasn't doing things the right way, or just in life, just you gotta have a good place to find God and check yourself.
Yeah.
Good man.
Oh, good man. Last one.
Yep.
How do you take care of your wallet? So any financial principles that you follow?
Here's one. This is one I tell people all the time. Build your credit. Me and my wife fight for the higher credit score all the time. But one of the ways I learned how to do that was I hate debt. Is that we use our credit card weekly to build up points. So when I go on vacation, I use the points from what we spent for regular stuff. And when I go, it's almost sometimes paid for. Flights are paid for, hotels are paid for. And so I tell people, find a financial mentor that can teach you how. The Ramsey, Dave Ramsey, great guy. I haven't done his class, but I wasn't raised financially on how to do things. My papa was raised by a single mom. He learned himself, and I taught myself. But really, just learning how to build that credit score is really important. And when you build your credit score, it's kind of like exercising. You build a little bit at a time, and you learn how to understand how credit works and stuff like that. Learn how to do it right. So, and don't buy fancy things. Don't buy fancy things. I tell people I have a Rolex, and the only reason I have a Rolex is my boss gave me a Rolex after 25 years of working.
Oh, wow.
25 years.
That's
and so I tell people
man.
as a gift. So I mean,
what did you do? Submariner?
I don't even know what it's called.
You don't care. You literally don't care.
I drive a truck. I have 307,000 miles on this truck that I drive in.
You do not.
It's a Toyota Tundra. I'll tell everybody I had a Toyota. It's not a plug for them, but these vehicles, I drive it all over California, and it takes.
You have 307,000. You have 300K miles on it.
What year? They paid for 2015.
Wow. How do you
16,
drive
17,
so
18, 20. San Diego to Valencia.
7 years.
San Diego to Valencia.
You do 50K a year, almost 40K a year,
yes, sir.
At least.
Yeah, and I'm on a plane. I'm on a plane probably during pre-COVID. Now after COVID, I probably fly about anywhere from 50 to 100,000 miles a year.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, so gotta move, baby. I was gonna say, move to the recipes. That's why you got me in the car. When you said you're on a computer, I'm like, I don't even. I have a computer, but I really don't use that computer very much. The phone is how I do everything.
That's so like me. I'm only at the computer for these calls. Yeah. I have a very hard time. Mario knows this about me.
Dude, I'm bored. I'm bored. I get bored. I start messing around, just start playing like a kid on the piano. So
so good, man.
Matt, thank you so much, man. It's been awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah,
appreciate you.
We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. Right, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
Blessed day, man. Good stuff. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. For more content, you can find us on Instagram at WeTheTrust or at WeTheTrust.com. If you'd like to connect further with Eric, you can find him on Instagram at Coach Eric Freedom. And if you'd like to connect further with me, Mario, you can find me on Instagram at the Mario Quesada. We'll see you next time.